en anglais. Je m'excuse, mon anglais n'est pas super bon, mais d'accord. Donc, allons-y. Each team has 24 minutes to present his case to the judge. The time of the presentation will be divided. The first 12 minutes of the presentation are considered as being protected, meaning that judges cannot interrupt the team. The next 10 minutes are non-protected. The beginning of this period will be when I ring the bell. When the non-protected period will end, I will ring it again. The judges have the possibility to interrupting the presentation in order to ask the question of clarification on the subject presented at this moment. The judge will have to limit himself to 15 seconds to ask his question. The team has to answer the question, but can then continue to present its presentation without waiting for the agreement of the judge. The judges cannot ask the question on the subject having already been covered or which are not being presented yet. These questions are mostly approached during the period of questions at the end of the presentation. The last 2 minutes of the presentation are meant to conclude the presentation and are shielded from the question of the judge. I will show the board showing the remaining time when there will be 12 minutes, 7 minutes, 2 minutes, and 30 seconds left. I will make the countdown of the last 10 seconds by using my hand. A period of question of maximal duration of 5 minutes is assigned to the jury at the end of the presentation. I would like to remind to each judges that it is mandatory to ask at least one question during this period. I will now invite the judges to introduce themselves.
Thank you. My name is Jean-Luc Deschamps. I'm VP of Finance at Solotech, and I used to work for Cirque du Soleil.
My name is Maria Ferrand. I'm the Senior Analyst for Casting and Performance.
Hello, my name is Amélie Lavoie. I'm the Company Manager of the most beautiful show of Cirque du Soleil, Corteo.
Hi, Fanny Paget. I'm the Manager for Artist Management.
Hello, and I'm Nadine Mercure. I'm the Director of Internal Communication at Cirque.
What do we Canadians do when there's a change in weather? We dress appropriately like a day like today. We put winter tires on to make sure we don't slip on ice. In sum, we cater ourselves to the change in environment to make sure that we successfully continue our day. And so, Cirque du Soleil is currently going through their own change in weather because they have to currently keeping up with the change in the entertainment market, as well as you have diversified your portfolio by having new acquisitions, and that also is a change in the weather. And we are here to make sure you are dressed the part to get out of this and to get through this successfully. Bon après-midi, mon nom est Mélissa, voici mes coéquipiers Ethan et Anna, on est les consultants Amy. On va continuer la présentation en anglais, mais soyez à l'aise à nous poser des questions en français ou en anglais à la fin de la présentation. Now, without further ado, let's get right into it.
So to start things off today, why are we here? Our mandate today is to devise a strategy for Cirque du Soleil to improve synergies between Montreal, Vegas, and your various tours, as well as maintain the unique culture that you have within your company. So today we're going to be looking at 3 key issues. The first of which is improving internal communications. So we've seen that you've had some issues communicating between your tour department, your Montreal office, and your Vegas fixed locations. So we're going to take a look at that, and also your communications with those third-party people that work at MGM Grand that do your setup. So it's something we're going to take into consideration. Number 2, of course, maintaining that unique culture. So you've had these additions to your portfolio, but you still want to maintain that culture and share that culture with your employees, whether they're far or at home in Montreal. So it's something we're going to take into consideration. And 3 is brand perception. So after adding the Blue Man Group and different companies to your portfolio, we have this varying brand perception among employees, so we really have to reinforce what Cirque du Soleil is and what those other brands mean to the company itself. So our proposed solution today is Cirque du Soleil Communicating the Future. So this is going to be a strategy that focuses on scalable internal development practices in order to prepare Cirque du Soleil for future growth. We focus on 3 key prongs. So first is an employee mobile application. This is going to be the Soleil application for employees, and it's going to be for internal communication purposes. 2 is an online highlights board. So this is going to really highlight employee achievements, creative ideas. It's going to be a place where they can vote up their favorite ideas and really express themselves with other employees. And 3 is internal branding. So creating day-in-the-life videos to show employees through various departments what they do day to day and really give each other a sense of purpose within the company. So starting off with some insights, we'll take a look at Cirque du Soleil around the world. So of course you have your international headquarters in Montreal where all your performing artists are trained. And again, those artists begin at the head office where they're trained before they're sent out to their various performing locations. But we've seen that because employees and artists work around the world, not everyone gets that full headquarters, that full Montreal experience. They don't all experience the culture in the same way. So it's an opportunity here, because they work in different departments and locations, they require a way to understand each other's roles better. So it's something we're going to take into account in our implementation. Second is, of course, that growing portfolio. So you started off as a small company and now you've grown again. So basically you have your Cirque du Soleil, which is your main part of the company. So you have, again, the fixed location shows, the touring shows, which are your big top in the arenas. And then you have some additions to your portfolio. So the Blue Man Group. You've also acquired content, set design, and system design company, and an event planning sort of subset of the company. So whether it's private or corporate events. So these are all separate and in addition to your main company. And people are getting a little bit confused on what it means for the company, what it means for the brand identity. So it's something we're going to take a look at. So because you're diversifying your offerings, you have to differentiate in the mind of employees what this is going to mean for the company. So if you look at internal communications, you have 100 different positions within your company, so there's many different roles, and employees within your company speak 25 different languages, so there's a lot of variation and a lot of diversity. We've seen through a study by McKinsey that productivity can increase by up to 25% by companies that adopt connectivity and have really connected employees. And we've also seen that companies who use an intranet, such as your Voxo intranet platform, 31% of employees don't actually commonly use that company intranet, so it's something we'll take a look at. But on the other hand, 50% of employees that were surveyed in this study said that a single platform that's mobile-centric, so something they can use on their phone, would be adopted and be much easier to share and create content if they could use that intranet on the go. So to remember here, as the number of your employees continues to grow, Cirque du Soleil has a need for a simple and mobile platform for its intranet. If you look at promoting employee creativity, so it's something you really pride yourselves on, is having creative employees, and something that's really important to your company. So it's a fundamental value both in the shows and in the office. So you have to find a way for employees that work outside of that main headquarters and outside of where, outside the Montreal office, to express themselves and put forward their creative ideas. So to do this and put forward creative ideas and even create a sense of belonging, you can do things like creating, celebrating personal wins. So if someone has a personal achievement, you can communicate it to other employees, rewarding creative ideas, and also finding out what employees are passionate about, so it really gets them motivated in the workplace. So a great idea to do this is to post creative content on ideas on an online platform where they can vote up each other's ideas and sort of express themselves and promote their creative ideas and their passions. So we summarize our insights today. A mobile platform is really going to improve internal communications. 2, a common place to highlight ideas and achievements is really going to improve your corporate culture and improve that creativity and even sense of belonging among employees. And 3, your increasing complexity in your portfolio requires brand separation in the minds of your employees. We're going to look at ways to do that. So now I'll pass over to Anna, who will walk you through the alternatives.
So we had our weather forecast. Now let's dress accordingly. So we looked at 3 alternatives. We looked at implementing more departmental roles. What do we mean by this? What we mean by is implementing teams and allowing them to be communicating all together. So having a team leader in a specific region and talking directly with the workers, and so you can have more of a condensed communication. So you have like meetings and making sure that you have a creative background, so having this opportunity to talk to people, but through a very rigid departmental structure. What we also thought about was like building an exchange program for employees. What do we mean by this? Well, it's easy. How about allowing your workers to travel from places to places? So let's say from Vegas, let's go to Montreal, or let's switch to another route that has the same show or has a different way to allow your employees to see what it's like to feel something else, to feel another show, to feel another group. This could be a really good idea because it allows your employees to see what are the different dynamics and what can they actually bring to their home based, their initial based group. So that could be a good idea. And we looked at implementing an app while strengthening the company culture. What do we mean by this? Implementing an app would bring everyone together on the same app. Everyone is on their phones today. Don't tell me that no one here has their phones on them right now. So we always check them every 30 seconds in the morning. We check them all the time. So what if Cirque du Soleil had their own app and they could allow their workers to see, oh, right now, Emily is working on this project. We're untrucking the Vegas truck right now, or we're preparing our next route. So that would allow to bring everyone together, knowing that right now we're working as a team and we're all communicating. Well, like my partner Ethan said, we can have our postings that we say, oh, right now we have this new way of doing our makeup, or like we have this innovative way of training. Everything could be shared, everything could be creative. So we pass on the creative mindset to everyone sharing this app. So we looked at 3 decision criteria: operational capabilities, cost efficiency, fit with company culture. What do we mean by operational capabilities? How is this implementation going to affect your overall operations? So basically, like, is it going to take a lot of time? Is it going to take a lot of resources? Are you going to be delaying stuff? As for cost efficiencies, pretty self-explanatory. How much is it going to cost to you to make it implement? Fit with company culture. Right now, you are creative, innovative. You want to really bring your people together, and that's a great thing. So how does all these alternatives fit into that? So we looked at a decision matrix, and basing on a scale of 1 to 3, 3 being the best, we can see that operational capabilities for implementing a more regional department roles is okay, because it's doable. You can make a team, you can make it work, you can make it structured and everything. Cost-wise, it is efficient. I mean, you're just moving a bit people, you're making them have extra roles that are not necessarily this big, just kind of bringing everyone together. Of course, it could be doable. As for fit with company culture, like I said, you are innovative, creative, and you want your people to be together. Yes, you're bringing your people together. However, you're kind of impeding their creative and innovative style. You're kind of blocking people from in a rigid structure that doesn't allow them to right away express what they believe or right away express their new creative idea. So this alternative might not be the best. If we look at building an exchange program for employees, on an operational capability, it's not the best, right? Because let's say if this acrobat is used to this kind of routine, can he actually switch it completely to join another team? Maybe on a management way when it comes to switching bureaus, it's of course more doable. However, on the very smaller case, it might be more difficult to implement, right? So we put a 1 on a 3 out of it. As for cost efficiency, it might not be the most cost efficient once again, because you have to move those people, you have to offer them for their families as well a package that will allow them to change to the new location, you have to adapt to all of this. As for fit with company culture, we gave it a good mark, we gave it a 3, so we doubled, I forgot to mention. The fit with the company culture for us is the biggest value right here that you have, so we doubled our rankings for it. So of course, building an exchange program will allow to increase your fit with the company culture because you're allowing this extra creativity. You're allowing these people to reach and join new teams and make it so much nicer and see what can they actually bring to this new team. So that's a great thing. However, if you look at the overall, it's not the best idea. So if you look at implementing an app while strengthening the company culture, what do we mean again? So operational capabilities. This is so doable. So many companies have their own apps. So many companies are having their own capable ways of bringing everyone together. Having an app would definitely be the great idea because it doesn't stop you from building anything else. As for cost efficient, of course there's going to be some higher cost than the general ideas over here, but overall it's a cost that you can actually manage. It's a cost that's going to be actually annually or monthly depending on the base that you choose. And we'll later on explain where we came with that cost. And as for fit with the culture, like I said, you are creative, innovative, and this way will allow you to post and express yourself right away. So all your workers are able to come together and really bring together what is the culture of Cirque du Soleil. So overall, we believe that implementing an app while strengthening the company culture will be the best way. Now later on, we will explain what do we mean by strengthening your company culture. I'll now pass it on to Melissa for the next part.
Thank you, Anna. Now you got the weather forecast. You are dressed accordingly. It's time to step outside and start this successful journey. Our proposed solution, once again for you, is Cirque du Soleil communicating the future. Now the strategy is focused on a scalable internal database in order to also make you expand internationally in the future and to have future growth within your company. The three-pronged approach, again, is employee application, online highlight board, and internal branding. Looking into our implementation is divided into two segments. We have the short term, which is 0 to 6 months, and medium term, which is from 6 months to 2 years. In the short term, your tactics will be to develop that application for your internal database and your employees to use to bring that communication together. We'll also launch your online highlight board on Voxo, which will be explained later on, and develop a day-in-the-life videos of your employees. The results of this would be an increased employee satisfaction through the highlight board and gather creative ideas and highlights of the successes that you have in your company. The key performance indicators is an 80% adoption of highlight board and your app. And in the long term, from 6 months to 2 years, your tactics is the official launch of the application for the employees, upload day-in-the-life videos on Voxos for everybody to see, a launch of a new production in China that will be later explained. So the results of this would be an improved internal communications, improving the understandings of the employees' roles within your companies in the different areas, and an increased brand recognition in China. The key performance indicator for this is an increase in internal communication efficiency by 30% and a 90% adoption of the application. Now, looking into the application Soleil, which we call. The application is in order to help the communication between every department anywhere that you are currently in. So Europe, in Montreal, in China, where you currently are planning on being in the future. Now, this will have live updates of tours of Vegas, Montreal, like I mentioned, and everything other. So the employees will be able to find on this app the answers that they're looking for, so they can ask questions to the other employees, get the feedback from those individuals. We're going to see videos of employees sharing the day-to-day how-to knowledge. So one of the issues we have here is that that you guys mentioned to us is that tours, Vegas, and Montreal's, they don't really know what department it works on in each area. So having a day in the life of a management and marketing, if I'm in Montreal, Vegas can see what my day-to-day will be like. So it's kind of like a Snapchat takeover for every department, and we're able to see what they're working on and how this affects the company overall with the end productions that you have, which are very successful. Now, there's also going to be an employee database, so contact information and current work status. This is the area. The app is for you to have your main communication on there. So it gets a bit clustered with emails, phone calls, and now everybody on that app, it's easy. You find everybody you want to find. It's specifically for Cirque du Soleil, and it's very easy to find the information and to communicate with those individuals. Also, there's going to be a built-in translation feature which will be extremely beneficial for you if you choose to expand internationally and when you think of going into China, as the language barrier could be an issue here, but with the translation in the application, it's very easy communication between everybody within Cirque du Soleil. Now looking into the application, as mentioned before, it's for every employee within the company, including your MGM Grand, which is a sub-company you work with. Now the individuals can create their schedules, so put their meetings, their shows, when they're out of office, and so on and so forth, and create, put on their calendar when they can have meetings with anybody and everybody. Create a profile, so everybody will have to create a profile. Every company employee will be on there with their contact information, and they can set whether they're available, offline, busy, in order to not be too bombarded when they can't be. And the employees, it's important to know that they will have a limited access to the information that will be provided to them. So there are some things that are supposed to be held confidential. And this is the main difference between management and individuals in your company. So the management does have information on everything everywhere. They know what's going on in every project, who's working on it, how it's going. Also, they will monitor the employees' posts when the employees do post, so we make sure that everything is under control, everything is set in stone, and there's no funny business going on. Also, again, set the status for the specific location and show, and they have unlimited access information. Now looking at the employee application, this is something it visually look like. Now you have here Jacob Davis has 3 projects he's currently working on for your company. He's half done one, 3/4 done the other one, and 1/4 done the other one. So you get to really track down where they are at in the project, the approximate end date, and it's very easy for you to track what's going on. And so this is a visual of what it is. Also, you see Mark also specifically mentioned Joe in a question and asked, can you check the problem please? It's very easy communication again. So employees can send and receive messages and document the various departments. Now with the employee application, the issues that we fixed with this is an improved internal communication and third-party communication. Now moving on, we have an online highlight board. Now the highlight board is where everybody can post videos on what they're working on, and the issues we fix with this is an improved internal communication and ensuring creative and innovative spirits. You want your, like my teammate Anna mentioned, you're very innovative, creative. You want your employees to be like that, and they are like that if they're hired, but you want to encourage that creativeness, that out-of-the-box aspect. So an online platform for employees to post stories, videos, creative ideas, encouraging them and making sure they know that every idea is heard and taken into consideration. And this is a team effort, as team effort really builds the company up. Now, employees can also vote up the post in order to gain more attention and to help you see which one has more value or which one distinguishes themselves more than others. And it creates a sense of community amongst the employee and performers as everyone feels valued and listened to. Okay, so with interactive meetings in office, it's going to be weekly meetings with management and their teams and staff of the week. So yes, you have communication on your application, but face-to-face communication is very important. And again, to create that family and interaction aspect. So every individual is encouraged to meet together with their team. They're going to talk about the workload. Are they okay with the workload they have? Do they need assistance whatsoever? Industry news and projects that are currently happening, and that's what management or the team leader will be in charge of, making sure, hey, by the way, we just acquired a new company, this is how it's going to work, or there's a new project going on in Vegas, and this is what it's going to look like. And so also, everybody's encouraged once again face-to-face to express their new ideas and concerns if ever they were to come up. Now, internationally also, we suggest you have monthly conference calls, again, making sure everybody's on the same page. So yes, we have the app, but talking is a bit different as well. And also, not necessarily monthly, but when needed, and with head managers of Tours Vegas and all other areas you are currently in. Now this, you will express local issues coming back from the weekly meeting. So if your employees have an issue, this is something important to communicate to the head office. And you will discuss the new ideas that come up for new productions, so on and so forth. Now, flash mob competition. This is a great area for you to ensure creativity and innovation within your company with everybody. So Montreal, you have Vegas in here, and everybody's going to feel a sense of belonging. So it's kind of like a competition between Vegas, Montreal, and an area the areas you are in. And every company is going to come up with an idea of a flash mob that they're going to do anywhere in their region based on either production they have previously worked on. And this is to encourage, like, hey, this is what we did and it was great and we want everybody to show it. Now, if you do a flash mob of performancers in the middle of the street, this will automatically create a lot of attention and it will automatically go viral. So this is great marketing for you as well. And we suggest to have a videographer film all these different things, and you can say, we are everywhere in the world and this is what we did and it looks really good. And this you post on your social media pages, and it's just great for you. And it's great marketing and friendly competition with everybody, and that's a sense of belonging between your different sections, which was an issue that you have come with us to fix. Now, the day in the life videos, again, this is to fix the internal brand perception, and the Tours Vegas Montreal to understand what's going on in each department. Like I mentioned before, each individual in the departments will say, hi, I'm Melissa from marketing department, and this is what I do, and this is what it led to. So the big creation of the product, which is great. Now, I will pass you on to Anna, who will finish the implementation and go into financials.
Pour fermer la boucle, we want you to have a grand opening. You were talking about distinguishing the Cirque du Soleil and Cirque du Soleil group, but we believe that bringing everyone together is the way to go. We want you to create this amazing show where you have all your new acquisitions in one. So what this allows you is allows many synergies, many groups to work together. Not everyone, of course. You don't want this chaos to handle, but you just choose a few parts from different shows, and like when your first show in China is going to open up, you could allow it to be the grand opening and be like, see it to believe it. See what Cirque du Soleil is all about when it comes to innovation and creativity. So we want really to push towards that. We'll just quickly look at a budget that we kind of ran through. We believe that flash mob videos would cost about $5,000, which could be increased or decreased depending on the amount that you actually decide to film. Design and development. What do you mean by this? Is we want the videographer to bring everything together. So you have a contract with them. And as for the app, the way we figured it out is through Dynamics, they have this monthly fee. So it's $15 per month. It accounted for 5,000 employees, but 4,000 overall, and the 1,000 people from MGMT. And then through that, we additionally added $100,000 depending on if they have to fit the app towards your needs. So of course, there'll be some changes and to allow it to be a Soleil app for you. So risk and mitigations. There's for sure risks that are coming with the Dynamics. You cannot provide the necessary platform. There's of course backups. There's so many opportunities for you to find some more replacement. So Polka is another side that you can look at. And you can think about maybe you're making your own app, which is going to be a lot more costly. As for employees that are not using the highlight board, you can provide additional incentives like creative ideas. You can add them, you can make them want to come join the huddle in a way. So we looked at Cirque du Soleil communicating for the future. We offered you an app. We offered you flash mob tactics to bring everyone together. And we believe that with this branding, you can bring the Cirque du Soleil all together. We've seen your weather forecast. We actually dressed you properly. And we believe that today you're able to get through this cold. Thank you very much.
Can you breathe now? That was fast. A lot of stuff. What is the timeline of putting in place all that? You maybe presented that, but I would like to see again.
Yeah, so it's divided between your short term and medium term. So within the first 6 months, this is where you're going to find the idea of the application you want to go with, how it's going to be launched. You're going to see the online videos of the day in the life of this individual and develop, day in the life. And then you're going to put highlight boards on the platform you currently have. Now, it's a total of 2 years for this whole implementation.
How do you propose to increase or to measure how you increase the internal communication efficiency?
Definitely. So we have to look at things you're doing now through the Voxo platform, so how you're communicating, or whether it's emails, see how long it takes those replies to get on average, and then measure it back after, say, 3 or 6 months with our new system and see how we're shortening that response time.
Okay.
You're aiming for a 90% adoption rate of the app, which is quite aggressive. So how do you plan on increasing the adoption of the app?
Absolutely. It is a very aggressive adoption rate. It's based off another study we looked at by McKinsey because people really do like to adopt it when it's on their mobile phone. It's just something that they do day to day. So to promote this adoption, we're going to show sort of the improvements it can provide for the company, the improved efficiencies, and it's also over a 2-year span. So once most people, I think once we get that 50% adoption rate and becomes a norm within the company, it'll be quickly adopted by the remaining 50%.
Would it be only in English?
Well, it's in English for, say, it does the translations automatically. So as to say, if you want to send a message in English, the recipient is in French, or maybe they speak Mandarin, whatever it is, it can automatically translate that through the software so that the recipient will get it in their home language and they can send it back.
And like any application, you put in your settings whether you want it French and English, so there's nothing different in that.
Absolutely.
And your cost for the application, 175,000 is
Now it's updated.
for.
Oh, yeah.
It's now $1
I
million.
apologize, it's
Oh,
not-
okay.
Yeah, there's a typo.
Okay. Okay, and that's for implementation, or it's a yearly fee?
So it would be a yearly fee. Well, in the first year, it'd be about $900,000.
Okay.
And we accounted for $100,000 as a buffer because you probably have to switch up a few things inside with the company, the app company that we chose, which is Dynamics. I don't know if you have mentioned. And yeah, of course, it's gonna be a monthly fee. We saw that generally it's a monthly fee between between 10 and 15. We accounted for the most just to make sure. But of course, there's contracts that could be accounted for, any other ways that you can reduce that cost.
Okay, so that cost, if we say we make acquisition and our number
course.
of employees grow,
And
this will also.
it might increase, of course. However, you could always find another plan with them. Sometimes you could. I've heard that they make contracts according to the amount of usage or other ideas. So honestly, there's different ways to mitigate that.
Did you, could you give us examples where an application like that is used?
Yes. Actually, the main idea came from FOCA, which is a small company which makes contracting, right? So what they do is they have many projects, and what they do is they post those projects, and the employee, the manager, actually sees who's working on this project and where is he right now. So we can actually change that for you and adapt it for your services by having all of your tours, all of your locations, and the manager responsible for this specific tour or location could update, be like, right now, the tour in China has just landed, or right now we're building our trucks, or we're done with our setup, or we're having our tent show. So by doing that, you're allowing yourself to see what's the overall picture of Cirque du Soleil at the moment.
Okay, so it would be an adaptation of
Exactly.
what is
Yeah.
currently existing.
Just to add to it, the software developer here, their software is used by people like the BMW Group and Monsanto, and they've actually achieved in some circumstances a 99% adoption rate with that software. So it's really something that's catching on, and the employees are really enjoying using that.
Thank you.
Merci.
Thank you.
Can we like move the finance?